So there is, President just announced again more tariffs on all countries, one of them being Canada. We're looking at that right now. So will be a 10% tariff coming out on potash, and that's mostly coming out of Canada. About 90% of all the potash that comes in the United States does come out of Canada. So there will be that. But if there's unrestricted fertilizer that hasn't been already dutied on, that is still being looked at a 35% rate. But most of that would be at a 10% rate right now. We are working with the administration and talking to them about how concerning that is, but they see some stuff right now as a bigger concern with fentanyl, immigration and stuff like that. But again, most of the potash that comes here to Illinois or the Midwest is coming out of Canada.
Okay, what about other fertilizers?
Yeah, so we're still looking at see what that looks like. The biggest question right now is on the phosphates. A lot of that comes out of Russia. What rates are those going to come out? But the biggest one we're seeing right now, and people are talking about, is the potash market, just because we take so much out of Canada here in Illinois.
Right now, phosphate is the most expensive.
Yeah.
It's been for 15, 20 years.
Yep.
And compared to corn
Yep.
prices, what are farmers going to do when it comes to application?
Yep. So it's going to be a great question. Do I think there's going to be a pullback on phosphates? Absolutely. I think retail is already talking about that. I mean, as on the retail level, we are the same as farmers. We're taking that price of what is being put out there. I think people are just looking to say, do we push that to a spring? Does that make it lower? Is there a new market that opens up? Does a tariff drop off? Because, I mean, there are some sanctions on Morocco that are out there right now. Morocco is probably the biggest supplier of potash that we could bring stuff in or on the phosphate level. We're going to see, but I do think there are going to be farmers, and even our own farm, talking to the father, to say, do we push to spring to see if there's a different price? But usually this time of the year, if you're going to set a price on fertilizer, especially the dries, is going to be the cheapest of right now. But this might not be that year.
Any tightness on supply of any fertilizer anywhere?
There is tightness on phosphates, so that's what is driving some of that. But on ammonia, on potash, I don't see any tightness of supply. But again, phosphate, that is why part of it's driving up, is on the tightness of stuff right now. But if you're talking your ammonias, your UANs, or your potash, again, it's all about the tariffs on that stuff. So right now, I think we're pretty good. Again, phosphate, the tightness of what stuff's going on and some of the other tariff stuff, that's what's driving that market right now.
You've got a major event coming up here later in August.
Yeah.
What's happening at Maggie?
Yeah, so we have our big equipment show August 20th, 21st. That's a Wednesday, Thursday at the Bloomington County Fairgrounds. That is our big Maggie show. It is all about fertilizer and chemical equipment. You're not going to see a combine or something like that. You are going to see some tractors, but all the sprayers and the new floaters that are introduced, but the new technology, a lot of the see and spray technology. I think we're almost probably at a cap of how big equipment gets, but it's all about the technology right now getting into that sprayer.
Do you have some companies that are going to be exhibitors that will have some brand new technology that farmers have not seen?
Yep. We are hearing Case and AGCO is going to come out with their new kind of what you'd say see and spray, but it's all about the technology. But then again, we got 40 acres out at the McLean County Fairgrounds that you can actually get in that sprayer and drive it yourself.
So there's some opportunities
Absolutely.
to get behind the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, anybody can get in that sprayer. And again, it's all of the major manufacturers will be there and have sprayers out there for you to drive.